With loving greetings from all souls at this station, this is Matthew. Let us speak first about the earthquakes in Nepal in the context of planetary and personal ascension. Mother Nature was dispersing negativity produced primarily by bloodshed and the fearful, dire conditions in which vast numbers of your population are living. If negativity were allowed to accumulate, it would upset Earth's tenuous balance and adversely affect her ascension course. To preclude that, she is using quakes, tremors, volcanic eruptions and severe storms to release negativity as it gathers. On a personal level, the earthquakes in Nepal enabled thousands of souls to complete their contracts and ascend spiritually and consciously. This is the goal of every soul, and during this unprecedented time in the universe, multitudes leap at the opportunity to complete karmic lessons in only one lifetime instead of many. Knowing that a major quake in that country would cause many deaths, souls who wanted to balance other experiencing by living humbly and dying traumatically chose to embody there. Many more chose to experience the grief and extreme hardships inherent in the aftermath of a catastrophic disaster. It is so that these events ended the lives of some persons whose soul contracts were not completed or didn't include that kind of ending. They are granted the three options mentioned in our last message and, along with all others who perished, they received tender, personalized care upon arrival in nirvana. Some who transition due to either event are recovering psychically or their etheric bodies still are strengthening in nirvana's customized healing centers. Others have embarked upon active, fulfilling lives in your spirit world. The plight of grieving families and friends who are living amidst massive destruction is being eased by the light beamed from nirvana and far distant civilizations and the light within the outpouring of prayers, compassion and direct assistance on earth. The time is coming when souls choose an earth lifetime not to wind up third-density karmic lessons, but for the joy of living in a glorious, beauteous world where multidimensional selves manifest magnificence beyond your imagining. Beloved Earth family, at soul level you do remember, only consciously have you forgotten that world, where all live peacefully in harmony with nature, where all know that every soul in this universe is a unique, independent, inviolate being, yet eternally interconnected with everything else in existence. You could think of each and every soul as a drop of water that retains its intrinsic value as it blends with the countless other drops in the sea of cosmic creation. In this moment, however, your world is beset by the Illuminati's dogged attempts to keep their economic, political and military toeholds. Earth's energy field of potential is teeming with activity, with high vibrations of light streamers swirling around the low vibrations of the dark as fighting continues and behind-the-scenes talks slog along. Even as the Illuminati's powers have been weakened beyond any possibility of return, bursts of compatible energy have kept them going. Nothing in the field is static, there is continuous movement in accordance with the energy of the immeasurable number of thoughts, feelings and actions sent forth from every soul on earth. If the dark minds and hearts can muster more energy bursts, the decline in their activities absolutely still is assured, but it will keep happening in fits and starts. Increasing light will assure that when the decline begins, it will steadily continue downhill. Lightworkers, keep your brilliance glowing. To all who have asked who the next president of the United States will be, we don't know. Activity in the field of potential that pertains to individuals now in the race and those who may enter is coming from the media, not the electorate, and forthcoming revelations that will have an impact on candidates naturally will influence voters' choices. Is the Illuminati organization responsible for all the pain and suffering in the world, or do some of those evil people act on their own? Although we refrain from ascribing evil to persons rather than to their deeds, and while some individuals within and beyond the Illuminati do indeed act on their own deranged dark tendencies, the Illuminati operation, you could say, has been responsible for all major wars, divisiveness, impoverishment and rampant deception and corruption for the past 265 years or so, after the name Illuminati came into being. It was devised by individuals in Bavaria who felt that they were the most intelligent, knowledgeable and capable persons in the world, the illumined ones, and in their self-aggrandizement, they felt entitled to control the lives of everyone else. As their numbers grew, so did their influence in governments, religions, national economies and trade. They used the Industrial Revolution to their advantage, and as decades passed, they did the same with subsequent inventions and the planet's natural resources. Eventually their control spanned the globe and encompassed everything that affects life in your world, from education to entertainment and mainstream media, food production, manufacturing, banking and stock markets to legal and justice systems, weaponry development to military forces and intelligence agencies, healthcare and pharmaceutical and chemical industries to wages, taxation and transportation. However, by no means were they the first to disempower the masses. They built on a firm foundation of populist control in the hands of a few. 2,000 years ago it was the heads of church and state, whose concentration of power grew through the centuries by papal edicts and arranged marriages within Europe's royal families. Control was further enhanced by the Italian Borgia and Medici dynasties' developments in banking and commerce, the emergence of Protestantism, and the British, French, Spanish and Portuguese empire building through colonizing other countries and subjugating or annihilating the native populations. Shortly after the colonies won their independence from British rule, European control crossed the Atlantic Ocean and infiltrated the nascent United States, and that country's 1913 Federal Reserve Act cemented the Dark One's hold on the international economy. But the lust for power and riches started long before your recorded history, when people from Lyra became the first residents on the planet. They went without clearance from the Intergalactic Council and they mined gold without asking the Council's permission because they didn't want to share their discovery with other civilizations. Thus, the energy of superiority, greed, deceit, lawlessness and domination that exists in your world today arrived on the planet eons ago in linear time. Speaking again about the Illuminati, it was formed as a secret society and never has been a formal organization with membership enrollment. Most of the people who are doing the bidding of those at the top may not even know the name Illuminati and have no idea that they are aiding ruthless exploiters of humanity. Because the most powerful in the ranks never publicly speak of themselves as Illuminati or acknowledge the global influence they wield, when their reprehensible activities started being discovered, the group deemed responsible was commonly referred to as the Cabal, elitists or shadow government, and sometimes New World Order or One World Government. By whatever designation, these individuals have continued what was set in motion long ago, a pernicious march toward world domination. They have no conscience because they are devoid of light except the spark that is their life force, and only when that void is filled with light will they be able to see the light and cease their dark activities. For all that those activities down through the ages have enabled billions of souls to complete soul contracts and evolve, Gaia is wary of her planetary body being a karmic merry-go-round and dealing with the negativity this creates. That is why you lightworkers volunteered to leave joy-filled lives in spiritually and consciously advanced civilizations and come to Earth. You knew that you would forget your homelands, your new dense bodies would be vulnerable to injury, illness and disease, you would live in a world of violence, fear, poverty, bigotry, greed and other darkness inherent in a third-density civilization. Yet, you came. Because you also knew when you volunteered that your love light would show the people of Earth the way to halt that merry-go-round. Many of our messages have included that love, the same energy as light, simply expressed differently, is the key to the kind of world you came to help co-create. Although the words love and light are frequently used in their various forms in all Earth languages, most people don't know that this energy is the most powerful force in the universe. You do, but with linear time passing so quickly, you may be hustling too fast to think about how swiftly and easily you are sending forth love light in abundance. I asked my mother to copy our conversation wherein we discussed this 20 years ago. Matthew, I thought that by loving people, we automatically send light to them, but now I'm wondering if there's more to it. Mother, you're right that feelings of love for someone carry light to that person, but you're also right in thinking there may be more to it. So, even though it's not necessary that you understand the sending process for it to be effective, I'll explain how it works. Light is within your spirit, the feeling you describe as light-hearted when something is giving you joy or you're remembering something that was special to you. Think how you feel when one of your dogs comes to nuzzle you, or you hear one of your favorite symphonies, or see a beautiful sunset. It's as if your whole self is lighting up, and that is what's happening. You're actually being filled with light simply by the experience. The light is coming from your soul, connecting with your mind and flowing through your body to produce lovely feelings or an inspirational aha. You didn't have to do a thing to get that sensation, and whatever evoked it didn't have to make any special effort to create your feelings. Simply by being receptive to the light, you get it. Light, let's call it love, because that's what we're really talking about here. Passing from one person to another is no different in cause and effect, but you may want to initiate it by focusing on someone. When you do, instantaneously the vibrations in your thoughts and feelings reach that person. The energy flows from you along your thought form of intent and intensity, and the same measure of love that you sent goes directly to the energy address you want it to. There can be no false addresses because the intent and feelings are totally clear. The receiver won't consciously know this, of course, but the receiver's soul is aware of the delivery. I think I understand. You've spoken about light receptivity, but I'm not sure what that means. How can we know if we're receiving light, and how can we use it in everyday life? Most simply stated, Mother, being receptive to the light enables spiritual clarity that transcends third density's limitations. Those include prejudice and hatred of differences, acting in greed, judging others for their choices, holding resentments or desiring vengeance, getting ahead by ruthlessness and cheating and lying, controlling others' lives and denying their free will, blindly following dogma or orders when instinct tells that they are not based in godliness. And the greatest of all third density's limitations is fear. Actually, all of those other negative emotions and actions I mentioned arise from fear. It's logical to think that by changing in some of those negative areas, you are being light receptive and growing spiritually. Positive changes certainly are progress, but not to the extent you may think if you still feel fearful about personal or world situations. Spiritual growth is learning to live without fear, learning to fully trust the unequaled power of love. As for everyday use of light, Mother, let's say love here, the ways are boundless. However, the word love is so commonly used that you could say it's abused, like I love artichokes or I love that song. So first I'm going to say what love is not. Food and entertainment can give much pleasure, and I surely am not debasing enjoyments that uplift spirits, but they are not love. Neither is love the physical attraction of one person to another that leads to anxiety about long-term security in the relationship. Love is not controlling a mate, it is not pitying or worrying about family or friends, it is not professional success, it is not possessions. Love is not dependent upon fame, social status, financial wealth or others' opinions of you. Love is not crusading for your beliefs or proselytizing. Love does not require understanding mystical spiritual teachings or karmic components of experiencing or the continuum that encompasses all time and space simultaneously or the laws of the universe. So then, what is love? In simplest terms, love is God's sharing of himself, herself with all of her creations. Love is the healing force of the universe. Love is within the soul and needs only your allowance of those innate sensations of loving others and receiving their love for you. Love has no limitations, no boundaries to its capacity. In expression, love is treating others with kindness, fairness, honesty, compassion, helpfulness, caring, respect. If love can be said to have ingredients, then those are some of the ingredients of godly expression in action. Knowing that you and God and every other of God's creations are inseparable is love. Knowing that Earth is a sentient, conscious life herself and respecting all of her life forms is love. Realizing that no one can know others at soul level and therefore does not judge them, but rather does not condone an action seen as injurious, is love. Listening to one's God self is love. Living the kind of life that engenders loving self is love. Feeling joy, yourself, when you see it in others is love. Doing something that brings joy to another is love. Forgiveness of self and others is love. Sharing your resources with full heart is love. Doing good deeds without attaching expectations is love. Feeling peace of heart and mind is love. The quiet thrill of seeing a sunset or hearing a songbird is love, and a smile is one of the simplest and most radiating expressions of love. In any or all of these instances and many others that you may encounter that instinctively you know are love in action, you are manifesting your love for and of God. Mother, I don't think I've told you anything at all surprising. But perhaps it is good to have some references as a guiding light in these times when darkness may seem to be overshadowing the magnificent abundance of love in your world. Thank you, Mother. Dear brothers and sisters, please never doubt even for one moment your importance in moving your society toward Earth's golden age abloom in its fullness. We honor your steadfastness in this essential service to Gaia, and our unconditional love is with you every step of your journey.